Page 55 is where we're headed for grammar, page 55. And today you need a post-it note because we're going to mark this page. So if you have a post-it near you, grab one. If you don't, if you know where one is, go ahead and get one. But if not, you can do this later. But you need a post-it note. I like to use the bigger ones. And if you stick it upside down, take off one and put it upside down so the sticky part is down and then the loose part is up, and write the word linking and verbs. Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And these are verbs that you're going to start labeling in this book from now on. We already know about action verbs. Those are pretty easy to spot because they're showing action. They usually end with an ed or something like that, where it's showing action, basically. But these are a little bit different. They're linking words together, so they have a different function. But they're still called verbs, so we're going to label them with a V. Did you get to write it down, Anthony? Okay, cool. And did you get to write yours, Amber? Okay, you did. Okay. So before we put it up above here, I don't want to cover up the words yet. So let's read this and then we'll stick it on the top. But it just says a verb shows action, like I just said, links the subject to another word or helps another verb. So there's three different things that verbs can do. In week 9, we talked about action verbs. Those are the easiest ones, like I said. This week, you will learn about linking verbs. A linking verb links the subject to a noun or adjective. So when I see the word linking, I think of links and I think of like a chain. That helps me visualize it. But it's basically linking words together in a sentence. Every verb has a subject. The subject and verb SV belong together. The words below are the linking verbs. Here they are in bold. So I want you guys to stay muted, but I want you to read this list with me because when you unmute, it gets echoey. So just stay muted, but read it with me, okay? Ready, read. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, seem, become, appear, grow, remain, taste, sound, smell, feel, look. Did you guys notice something about that last row? What do those words remind you of? Taste, sound, smell, feel, look.
The five senses.
Yes, the five senses. Very good. So these are linking verbs. So you might have a sentence that says, the howling wolf sounds spooky, right? So wolf would be the noun or the subject, and sounds spooky would be the adjective. So it's linking those two things together. Or the fresh baked bread smells delicious. So the subject bread, smells is the linking verb to the adjective delicious. So those are some examples there. But these are all the linking verbs. Now you can move this post-it to the top here like this and make sure it's sticking above the page so when you turn to it, you can see it. That's so that when you're doing your homework this week or later, you know how to find that list if you need to go back and look at it, okay? So what you're still going to do is label the subject to verb, but the verb might be a linking verb this time. So look at this example here. It says, the princess was a thief. So here we have the subject princess, and the verb this time is linking. It's was, and you can see it on the list above here. But it's linking it to another noun, which is thief, and that noun can take the place of the subject. It's the same person, the princess, thief. They're using that word interchangeably, which just means that that is what she is. Okay, so it's linking it to another noun. The next example says the fruit tasted delicious. This time, the subject fruit, the word tasted is linking it to an adjective, delicious. That's one of those senses. See how it has taste here? So you can add an ed and it still is considered a linking verb. So you're still going to label it subject verb like that. Okay. And these two paragraphs explain that. And then down at the very bottom of the page, there's another list, same list as this one. So that's for you to look back on if you need it. There's a little bit, oh, there isn't anymore. Go to page 57. Thought there was more on 56, but there's not. 57. All right, Amber, I'm going to have you read this sentence today.
She sewed a bag. Her bag looked similar to the bag which the soldier owned.
Good. Sewed. Do you know what that means, Amber? To sew something?
Yeah, like when you um it's kind of like crafting, but it's with clothing.
Yes, that's a good way to explain it. You have thread and material that you use to sew together. Good. And so obviously she's making a bag here. So check vocabulary. There are three articles. Go ahead and find those by yourself. And then Anthony, when you're ready, go ahead and find the four nouns.
Um, bag,
Good.
and then another bag,
Another bag.
and then another bag,
Yes.
and then soldier.
Yes, good. Bag, 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 soldier. And there's one pronoun. What do you think, Amber? Where's the pronoun?
She
Good. And I'm glad you didn't say her because sometimes that can be a pronoun, but because it's telling whose bag it is, it's an adjective. Okay, so you're right. She is the pronoun. So I just gave away that one for the adjective. Go ahead and write that in. And then Mateo, where's the other adjective describing?
I don't think Mateo's in this class anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. Whoa. Anthony.
Okay,
One more adjective in there.
is it, um,
I'll give you a little clue. So that word looked is going to be a linking to an adjective, a linking verb. The bag looked
similar?
similar. So similar is actually an adjective because it's telling which bag it is. It's the one that's similar. Okay, that
Oh,
was
I get it.
okay, cool. Now, for me, sometimes it helps me to save the prepositional phrases for last. So I'm going to skip that. It's okay to do that as long as we go back to it. And then, Amber, where is the who which clause?
um which the soldier owned.
Good. So we're going to put parentheses around that. And then Mateo, why do I keep saying Mateo? Because he's in my other class right before this class, and I get all confused. Anyway, Anthony, sorry. Where are the subject verb pairs? So find the verbs first. That's probably the easiest way.
Okay, I'm looking at the paper. Um, is two one?
Oh, you're thinking prepositional phrases. So no, we're not, that's not a verb. So think about verbs. Look for ed words that end in ed.
Okay, owned,
Owned, very good. So if owned is the verb, what's the subject? Who owned?
the soldier.
There you go. Good. What's another verb?
Um, her bag.
Not her bag, because that's already labeled. We already have her as an adjective, bag as a noun. Look for ed words for verbs. Looked is one. So who or what looked similar to the bag?
Um,
Not who, but what this time. What looked similar to the bag which the owner owned? The soldier owned, I mean. To find the subject for looked. So what was it that looked similar?
the bag.
There you go. So that's the subject. So remember, you find the verb and then you ask yourself who or what is doing that. That'll help you. So what is the verb in the first sentence?
Own or sued. What?
It
Sewed.
is sewed. It looks like it could be sued, but you're right, it's sewed. And then who sewed a bag?
Sheep.
There you go. So see how I did that? If that's a
Yeah.
struggle for you, look for those ED words. Sometimes they're not ED, so it gets a little tricky, but then ask yourself who or what is doing that. And now the prepositional phrase, Amber, do you see that one?
To the bag.
To the bag. So to does not, and I heard you, Anthony, earlier say that. So you were thinking ahead, but to the bag is the prepositional phrase. Capitals, go ahead and find those by yourself. And then end mark is just a period. Before you put away your grammar, since it's just you guys in class today, is there anything that you get stuck on when you do your grammar homework? Is there something that you tend to have trouble with at all?
Um, the prepositional phrases and the subject verb.
Okay. So I recommend saving the prepositional phrases till last, okay, like we did today. And here's a big clue for you, Anthony. Whenever there's already a label, like earlier you were saying her bag, but it already had something on top of it. So that's not going to be a verb. The only time you have two things on top of it is when it's a noun or pronoun and a subject, like these two. Pronoun subject, noun subject, noun subject. That's the only time you have two things on it. But think about actions, and that's why we marked that linking verb page too. See if you can find those and then ask yourself who's doing that or what's doing that.
Okay.
And then save the prepositional phrases till the end, and then it's usually the one that doesn't have a label. So that's why it's a little easier to spot. How about you, Amber? Is there anything that you get stuck on sometimes?
No, just the prepositional phrases, which is the
Okay.
same.
Okay. And don't forget, you guys have a list at the back of your book about prepositional phrases too. I mean, prepositions. So if you need that list to help you, you can use that too. It'll get easier. Every time you guys go through it, it'll get easier and easier. I do recommend that when you sit down to do your grammar work, read the sentence out loud, even if you're the only one in the room. Read it with your voice before you start marking things, because that'll help you identify where things are in the sentence. Okay, so make sure you read it out loud and move around on the list. You don't have to go in order on the checklist there. All right. Let's see. Oh, we did why opossum has a bare tail. So go ahead and get out that from your front pocket. You need your story sequence chart and everything for why opossum has a bare tail. Get my stuff out too here. Last week you started with the first paragraph. We're going to finish up our story this week. Um, and we're going to look at your paragraph in a minute here, but you should have this, your story sequence chart. The first thing I want to look at though with you is the checklist really quick, okay? Because I'm going to keep telling you this. Um, every paper that you write for me has its own checklist, every single one. So this is how I grade your homework. I check to see if you included everything on your checklist. That's how important it is for you to have this. When you sit down to start writing for your homework, get out your checklist and look at it and make sure you include everything. Um, and right now, the most important part is right here under style. So you guys should have one ly adverb, one who, which clause, and one strong verb in each paragraph. I know this week you just did paragraph 1, so you need one in each for paragraphs 2 and 3 also. So let me ask you this. Do you know what a strong verb means? Do you guys know what that means, a strong verb?
Like a replacement for like another verb?
Yeah. Like we talked about these band words. Is that what you're thinking? Like a replacement for safe
Yeah.
or seesaw? Yes. Yes. A strong verb gives the reader an image of what is happening in the sentence. So if I have the sentence, I went to the store, the verb is went, but it's not a strong verb because it's not really telling me how you got to the store. If I said, I drove to the store, automatically in your head, you picture me in a car driving, right? Behind the steering wheel driving. So that is a strong verb. Drive or drove would be a strong verb. Or I ran to the store. You picture me running. Or I rode my bike to the store. Rode, you can see, so anything that creates an image of the action, that's a strong verb. And another good thing to remember is a strong word often has ed at the end. Okay, so like asked instead of said, or spotted instead of saw, spotted, or spied. A lot of times those ed words are strong verbs. Okay, so you need to have one of each in each paragraph. Do you guys have any questions about the checklist right now? Okay, so what I'd like to do is look at your, since it's just you two in here today, I'm going to look at the paragraph you guys turned in. I'll pull it up on the screen in a second here and let me find it. And then we'll talk about yours and how it came out. You both had a chance to do it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think Amber did.
Yeah, let me check. I haven't had a chance to grade it. Oh, I don't see yours yet, Anthony.
Did I not turn it in?
Hold on, let me double check here. I'm scrolling through. Um, are you guys on the same account?
I don't think so.
No. You
Which one's
must be,
big?
oh, yours is under Ain't and Goof, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I keep forgetting that. Okay.
Oh yeah, I submitted it.
Yeah, I see it now. You did the whole story, I think. Okay, let's look at Amber's first really quick. Let me pull
I
up.
thought I thought we were doing the whole thing because I was confused at the end. I thought we were doing like the
Bro.
whole thing. That's why I was like the sequence chart. I was like, what?
Okay, so let me talk about yours then really quick, Anthony, because it's really important for you to understand. When you log in, by the way, Anthony, do you know how to log into Google Classroom by yourself?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
good.
think so.
Make sure when you log in, I'm going to show you. I always, 100% of the time, I put the instructions on Google Classroom. So if you're ever confused at what the homework is, read the instructions and they're right here. Have you seen these before?
No.
Okay, that's what's wrong. You're missing the instructions. So see how I have grammar here, grammar. Number 1, complete pages 52 to 54. And then it says, ask your parent to grade your grammar using the answer key, blah, blah, blah. It tells you what to do for grammar. And then it says writing. Number 1, use Roman numeral 1 of the SSC, which is story sequence chart, for why a possum has a bare tail to write one paragraph. We will work on Roman numerals 2 and 3 in class next week. Number 2, Each number, including the Roman numeral, is a sentence in your paragraph. Number 3, use the checklist and mark off items as you complete them. Don't forget the dress-up words, ly adverb, and who, which clause in the paragraph. Number 4, upload one paragraph to this assignment. It's pretty clear. So make sure you find the instructions, okay? That'll help
Okay.
you. So you're going to have to probably fix yours, but we're going to talk about that in a minute here. I forgot to put strong verb on that list, but okay. So, Anthony, um, just read for me your first paragraph. Okay, let me make it bigger so you can see it here. Oops, whoa. Okay, go ahead and read that first paragraph for me.
Opossum lived in the forest. He was greedy but proud of his tail. He had a beautiful white furry tail which he acquired easily. Then he looked up and noticed the raccoon's beautiful rings on his tail. Opossum asked, "How did you get such a pretty tail?"
Nice. Wow, you've got some great words in there. Very good, Anthony. Woohoo. Give him a little clap in the camera. There we go. I really like that paragraph. You did an excellent job, and I see that you underlined easily for your ly adverb, but you forgot to underline who or which. I see it in there, but you forgot to underline it. Do you know how to pull it up at the same time as the Zoom on your computer or no?
Like pull it. Okay, I can fix it right now.
Yeah, you can fix
Okay,
it
I'll
right
fix
now.
it.
So I'll let you work on it. Go ahead. Let me send it back to you. I'm just going to return it to you. And then do you know how to pull it up at the same time?
Yeah, I can see it right now.
Perfect. So you have which right here. Go
Yeah.
ahead and underline that.
Okay.
It should
Wait,
let
I can't. Let me reload it so I can edit it.
yeah,
Okay.
reload it. There you go. I see you on there. That's what's cool about Google Docs because we can be on there at the same time. And
Did
then
it fix for you?
it did. Yep, I can see you
Okay.
working on it. So the other thing on your checklist, remember, is a strong verb. So looking at just the first paragraph, remember a good rule of thumb is finding a verb that has ed ending, and you have some great ones in there. So pick one and underline one of your ed strong verbs
Okay. Uh,
just in the first paragraph.
which one? I'm gonna do this one.
Okay, good. There you go. So that's what you need to do for each paragraph. Now, before you move on, because you have too many paragraphs right here, you've got 4 paragraphs in it, and really it's going to be 3. So let me look at Amber's really quick. Okay, let's look at hers. Okay. Can you see yours right now, Amber?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Go ahead and read your paragraph.
Opossum was proud of his tail, but he was greedy and wanted more. Opossum proudly walked through the forest with his long white fluffy tail. But one afternoon he saw Raccoon's beautiful rings on his tail. Opossum looked up onto the tree where Raccoon was sitting and said, "How did you get such a pretty tail?"
Nice. Okay, good job. Let's give it to her, Anthony. Woohoo. I like it. Okay, so you have a great paragraph, but you forgot your dress up. So you have them in there, but you forgot to underline them. So if you have the original in front of you, get your pen. And the first dress up is ly adverb. And I see the word, I saw it. Where is it?
Saul,
What is it?
Saul, did you
Oh, no, wait. No, we're going to go to those in a minute. We're looking for an ly adverb. I know you had one.
okay.
Proudly. There it is. Proudly. Underline proudly. Got it, Amber? Okay, and then you're missing a who which clause. Do you see a spot where you can put who or which? I have an idea if you need help.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, look at um let's look at the first sentence. You have Opossum was proud of his tail, but he was greedy and wanted more. What was it that he wanted more of?
Like a better tail.
I think I like the way that sounds better. Instead of saying wanted more right here. Oops, let me see if it'll let me highlight it. I'm making it yellow, but draw a line through more and right above it put a better tail. And then I have an idea for a who clause.
Okay.
All right, so look at the beginning of that sentence now. And right after the word opossum, because it's a character that's acting kind of like a person, right? Because they're talking and he's like greedy and all these things that animals aren't normally.
We can do like opossum who was proud of his tail.
That's exactly what I was going to suggest. Very good, Anthony. So after opossum, right here, right after that word, I want you to draw what's called a caret. It's an edit symbol. It looks like a V. It's like an arrow. You're pointing down. In between opossum and was, put a little caret right there, an arrow. And then above that line, put the word who. And then don't forget that when you have a who, which clause, it needs commas before it and after it. So put a comma after opossum and then put a comma after tail. So now it'll say opossum, who was proud of his tail. And then we need to cross out some words because it doesn't make sense to say opossum who was proud of his tail, but he was greedy. That doesn't sound right, doesn't flow right. So we need to take off, but he. Just draw a line through it. Don't scribble it. Just draw a line through right here, but and he. Draw a line through it and then read the sentence the way we fixed it.
A possum who was proud of his tail was greedy and wanted a better tail.
I like it. I like it. That's good. So now underline the word who, because that's your dress up, okay? So you got ly, you got who, and now you need to find a strong verb, which you have a couple in there. Look for words that have ed ending and pick one and underline it. Which one do you want to pick?
Looked?
That'll work. Yep. So underline looked. Now you got your three words underlined. You got your ly, which was proudly, and then you've got who, and then you got looked. That's perfect. Now, as Anthony pointed out earlier, you accidentally used two band words. Do you know which ones you used? Remember the band words? They're on your checklist.
Oh, saw?
Yeah, saw is band. So draw a line through saw. And above that, what's a better word from your list or a different word you could put instead of saw?
Spotted?
Perfect. So right above the word saw, put spotted. Doing great. And then after you write that, there's one more band word.
Said?
There you go. So cross out, just put one line through said, and then right above that, what's another word you could use?
Um, shouted?
Yeah. Up in the tree where a raccoon was sitting and shouted, yeah, how did you get that? Such a pretty tail. Because he's like way up in the tree. You could do that. Shouted. Go ahead and write it above said. And there's only one more thing to fix, and then you got it. The last thing to fix is your end mark. After the question, you have a period. What should it be?
Oh, question mark.
Yeah, question mark. So right after tail at the very end, make that a question mark. And I noticed you put the title, Why Opossum Has a Bare Tail, but you're going to have to change that after you finish writing your paper this week because remember, there's a title rule on your checklist too. So you have to wait till the very, very last final sentence and then use one or two or three of those words in your title. Okay, so you'll have to fix that later. You can just draw a line through it and fix that later. By the way, it's okay if you turn it in sloppy like that. I know you're fixing things. I'm okay if you turn it in like that. I want to make sure you include in your next two paragraphs each one of those things we just went over. So make sure you have three words underlined in your second paragraph and your third paragraph. And don't use say or said or seesaw on your paragraphs 2 and 3. All right, so good. Now let's look at your story sequence chart. We're gonna finish up that. Now, I noticed you finished writing, Anthony. Did you finish your story sequence chart too?
Yeah.
You did. Okay. Did you put anything in this box right here?
No.
Okay. So this box, do you remember what happens? First, we have characters and setting. We talk about who and where they are. And then do you remember what goes in the second box? Either one of
The
you.
Is it the conflict slash problem?
Yes, very good. So let's write that in on the left here. Conflict slash problem. And then do you remember what question we ask in that box?
Uh, um, the solution?
No, it's going to be the question what. So just put what in the middle of that box. That just means what is the character wanting? What does the character need? Um, what is the problem, basically? So when we're filling in Roman numeral 2, that's what we're going to focus on. And then, Amber, do you remember what goes in this last box?
Solution?
Yes, that was resolution, but what do you remember the other word that starts with a CLI?
Climax?
There you go. Climax slash resolution, actually. So it's like a solution, but it's called a resolution. And we're going to answer the question how. How does the character solve his problem or her problem? And remember the picture we usually draw down here? We did it for King Midas.
Yeah, it was like kind of like a mountain,
Yep,
and then there's like a stick man on top,
yep.
and it was like rocks and bushes, I think.
So one side has spikes. I just go like that for spikes. And the other side has a cloud. It's not a very realistic picture, but this helps me remember the climax of the story is the peak of the story. That's why we draw the mountain. And it's the part of the story where we don't know which way he's going to fall. And I put these little marks around him like he's wobbling at the top, right? Go ahead and draw that in. So the climax of every story, every book, every movie is when you don't know what's going to happen to the character like the first time you read it or the first time you see the movie. And I always like to talk about Kung Fu Panda, the first one, when he's battling Tai Lung. And Tai Lung is beating him up so bad. Po is just getting hit left and right, and he's getting thrown, and he's getting beat up, and it's like harder and harder for him to stand up because he's getting beat up so bad. That's the climax. That's the point where we know the answer to this. But when you first saw it, you might think, is Poe gonna die? Is he gonna be defeated by the bad guy and he's gonna, be on this side? Or will he remember he has the special power to defeat the bad guy, which is how it ended. So it ended where he had a safe ending, right? On the soft cloud. So it's that part of the story. What is that? What does that
Didn't
mean?
like he do that? Like he was like
Oh,
he like holded his finger and then he like flicked it.
yeah, it was like the wushu pinky.
Yeah.
He went skadoosh, remember?
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, he was like holding the pinky. I think that's what it was. And Tai Lung was like, "No, no, don't do it, don't do it." He's like holding his pinky like that. I love that movie. I think it's great. So anyway, but Poe remembers that he is the chosen one, right? He's the one with the special power. Nobody else has that power except for him. And so he won. Okay, so here we are in the story. We already did paragraph one. We left off where Opossum asks, "How did you get that pretty tail?" So looking at the story now, after that is when Raccoon plays a mean trick, right? So I'm going to put R here for Raccoon. This is, we're getting into the problem here.
I
Um,
put idiot for the next one.
what did you put for Roman numeral two?
I put the R and I put the mischievous. I put the C, put looks down, and then I put the O.
And what does it mean? What do those symbols mean?
Raccoon. Forgot what that one was, but and then it's opossum.
Okay, so basically, it's probably like what we're gonna put. Raccoon played mean tricks. So it's along the same lines.
Yeah,
That okay. And then Anthony, what did Raccoon tell Opossum to do? What did you actually? What did you put for regular number one right here?
I put raccoon trick.
Okay, so it's gonna be hard to do because you already filled it out. But what was his trick? What
Um,
did he tell Opossum to do?
to wrap his tail in cedar bark and put it in a fire, like
Mhm.
coals.
So good. So let's put quotation marks here because this is what Raccoon's going to say. Wrapped, like he said, I wrapped my tail, right? So I'm going to put wrapped my tail with bark. And that's the part of the story where he's like here and here and here and here, right? He's showing how he wrapped his tail in bark. And then you're right, he said to put it in the fire. So Amber, what did he say would happen when he put his tail in the fire when he was explaining how to do it? What did he say happened?
Um, the fur between the bark turned black.
Yes. So we could put right here, did you have an idea, Anthony, by the way?
The same thing.
Okay. I'm going to put fire and then um between and then black. And I'm still talking in quotes because he's still explaining it. So when you go to write these sentences, make sure you don't use the word said. You might use the word explained or demonstrated or
I think I put
replied.
explained.
Yeah, explained is good, or replied would be another good one.
Oh yeah, I put replied actually.
Yeah, okay, good. Um, and then what did he say about the rest of his tail? So between it turned black, and then what did he say about the rest of his tail, Anthony?
Um, it would become like furry, I think.
Or white, right? It would
Oh
remain,
yeah, yeah.
I think so. I'm going to put here rest, remain white. So basically, this is his trick, and this is the problem that starts happening in the story is Raccoon's trick. So the middle paragraph, that's what you're going to have to fix, Anthony, because your story right now is 4 paragraphs long, but it should only be 3. So make sure that the middle paragraph is only talking about the trick. What is the trick? This is what he says to do. This is the trick.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we move on to the last paragraph, and it's still part of the problem, really. We're leading into the climax here. So Anthony, what does he do after Raccoon tells him to do all this? What does he end up doing?
He puts his tail in, or first he grabs the bark and
Yes.
wraps it around his tail.
Yes.
And
Good.
then he goes to the bonfire and puts his tail in the coals.
Yes. That's right. Okay, so opossum, we'll put O here. So he did what he was told. He wrapped tail bark. And then he went to the bonfire. And it said that he kind of waited until the coals, until the fire died down or something like that, right?
Yeah, so it wasn't as hot.
Yeah. I'm gonna put bonfire. Do you guys know what a bonfire is?
It's like a big fire, or
Yeah.
isn't it like, yeah,
It's a big fire, or it's like a camping fire when you're out camping. And he put his tail in the hot coals, right? So I'm gonna put tail and maybe an arrow coals because he put his tail in the hot coals, right? And maybe I'll put some like something that looks like hot next to it. I did a
that's
little
exactly
symbol.
what I did.
Oh, cool. That's good. So yeah, so your last paragraph, your third paragraph is going to be all about this part. And then Amber, what happened after he put his tail in the hot coals?
It burned.
And it burned like do you remember the word?
Um, um,
You see where it's
like
at.
a torch.
Yes, there you go. I'm gonna just put burned like torch. And torches, if you I think they have them in Minecraft, right? You guys probably play Minecraft where they carry a torch. It has a big flame on it.
Amber plays Minecraft.
There you go. So you know what I'm talking about. So basically, in real life, it's actually a big fire on a stick, right? So that's what his tail was like. His tail was like a big fire at the end of a stick. And then that's when, how did he react? What's the word that described how he reacted, Anthony?
He quickly jumped into the pond.
He did. He quickly jumped into the pond, but I'm looking for the emotion word that he felt. How did he feel
Um,
before he
like,
jumped into
okay,
pond?
before
Yeah, that same sentence on the back.
before he jumped into the pond,
Yeah,
um,
at the end of that paragraph on 56 at the top here.
he panicked and
Yes,
jumped into the pond.
yes. I'm thinking panicked would be a really good strong verb, although we have wrapped and we have burned. So there's some good choices there for strong word. So I'm going to put panicked and jumped and pond. But there's still a little bit more we need to add here. So go ahead and write a number 4 in because we have to kind of sum it up. Remember at the end of the story, it talks about his children's children and all that stuff. So how could we put that, Amber, for number 4 on our, basically they don't have any more hair for generations. So how can we write that down?
His bad mistake caused his children's whatever to um bear for the rest of their lives.
Yes, that's exactly how it ends, but we can only use three words and some symbols and stuff. How can we narrow that down?
Um, bad mistake. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have an idea, Anthony?
We can like do like the C, um, and then bear tails since
What do you mean, CC?
like for children's.
Oh, C, comma, C for children's children, bear tail sense. What do you think, Amber? You like that?
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, so C, C, bear, tails, sense. I like that. It's a good idea. Okay, so now you're ready to add paragraphs 2 and 3. So we still have some time left in class. So I'm going to have Amber get out your first paragraph, and what you're going to do is go underneath that paragraph and start a new paragraph. So you're going to indent. Do you know what that means? Okay, and then go ahead and start working on your Roman numeral 2 here, and keep in mind your checklist. Don't forget, as you're thinking of sentences, see if you can find a sentence where you can put a ly, a who or a which. Remember, you use who when you're talking about the character, and which if you're talking about the thing. So if you're talking about the tail which caught on fire, that's when you would use which, okay? But if you're talking about the raccoon who played a mean trick, you're going to use who. Does that make sense, Amber? Okay. And then make sure you include a strong verb, but we have a bunch of those, so you're not going to have a problem with that. And don't use said or saw. Okay. So go ahead and you start working on that. I'm going to help Anthony kind of fix yours because you have it, but it's not quite organized right. So let me pull it up again. And you can pull it up on your end too, okay?
Okay. Where
Oh,
is
you
it?
already changed it. You
Oh
already,
yeah.
okay. So your first paragraph is good. Your second paragraph starts with the, okay, yeah, that works. Bonfire is torch cooking, jumped into the pond, stopped burning, but it was too late. You know what? That works. So now you just need to find your dress ups for each.
In which one?
Well, I only see one underlined in paragraph 2. So go ahead and
Uh, okay.
I see how about you read to me paragraph 2?
Paragraph. Okay. The raccoon, the mischievous animal he is, often looked down on the opossum and responded, "Well, I wrapped my tail in cedar bark and put it into the coals of fire," which was a bad idea, but the opossum easily fell for the trick.
Okay, I like how you did that. However, technically this is only 2 sentences because this one right here is, oops, this one right here is a super long sentence. So that's one sentence and then two, and you really should have, the checklist does say 4 sentences. Each paragraph, if you look on your checklist, it's under structure. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth one down says each paragraph contains at least 4 sentences.
Okay.
So we need to make that a little bit longer. Um, And instead of adding a sentence, I think we can break up this sentence a little bit. Because what if you stopped after opossum, the raccoon, and this would be a great spot for a who clause right here. Think of how you can reword this part of your sentence that goes all the way to opossum and
Oh,
see if you can add who in there. Go ahead and do it. Yeah, it doesn't really work right there because remember, it has to go right after what you're talking about. So it needs to go right after the word raccoon. Whenever you add a who clause, it's got to go right after the character.
oh, can I do like the raccoon who often looked down on opossum?
You could, but you need more. Like, I like this part of the sentence too, mischievous animal. So you could say, like you said, you could put that raccoon who looked down on a possum was a mischievous animal. Or you could say the raccoon who was a mischievous animal looked down on a possum. Either way. Okay.
And then do I put like for the mischievous, what should I put?
Yeah. So put a comma after opossum. Because remember with the who clause, it takes the verb away from the sentence. So you need another verb. So you could say, was a mischievous animal, like you had earlier. And then a period. Okay, so it's showing here. Oh, no, you don't need to change that. Put a space after the comma though, because it got squished right there. And then right before the word who, you're going to use a comma. So whenever you have a who clause in the middle of a sentence, you need commas around it.
Okay.
Okay, now read that sentence to me.
The raccoon, who often looked down on opossum, was a mischievous animal.
I like it. That sounds so much better. So go ahead and underline who now. That's one of your dress ups. And now we got to fix the second sentence because you started with often look down on a possum. So we got to take that out because we don't need that now because you already said that.
Okay.
And who was it that responded?
The raccoon.
Yeah. So you could put raccoon responded, and you'll need to capitalize that because it's after the period. Oh, okay, that works too. Either way.
Okay.
The raccoon responded. Put a comma after responded. Because when you have, that's called, and we're going to learn this more in the grammar book as we go, but that's called an attribution. It's telling who's speaking. And then the word well is going to be a capital,
Well, okay.
because that's the beginning of what he says. Okay, good. That's your second sentence. And then you have which here. Now you don't need this. And by the way, you never start a sentence with who or which. It usually goes in the middle of a sentence, but um, instead of starting with which, you can say something like, that was a bad idea, but opossum easily fell for the trick. Okay. And make sure you capitalize that. Um, And then you have to figure out one more sentence. And I'm thinking because of the outline that we worked on today, he kind of went into more detail. He didn't just say wrap it and put it in coals of fire. He did go on to say the part between the bark will burn black and the rest will remain white. So that's a good sentence to put before that last sentence. Yeah.
So do I put it, where do I put it?
So I think I like the word, I mean, I like the sentence you just fixed as your last sentence. So I would put it here before that.
Okay.
You could add something like,
Do I put it in the commas or the parentheses?
no, you're going to start over. So you'll say something like, he added, comma, and then a new quote. Does that make sense? You can say he added,
And
comma,
then,
quote, and then
okay.
yeah, about, the part you can decide how to word that, but he was talking about how some of it would turn black and some would stay white.
Okay. Here we go.
You think about that. I'm going to check in with Amber. How's your paragraph coming, Amber?
Yeah, it's going good.
Good. Are you finding a spot for your dress ups too?
I'm still trying to find the who which clause thing.
Okay. Sometimes you can even combine two sentences with a who which, but um
Can I make another sentence with
yes,
it?
you can. That's a good question. Yes, you can. You can add a
Okay.
sentence. Yep. That'll help. He added, okay. Good. Good. Okay.
Okay, let me.
Yep. And then after white is when you have your period and then the end quote and a space. There you go. And the only other thing is after the word added, put a comma.
Okay.
Now, that's a great paragraph. Okay. The only thing you're missing underlining is a strong verb, which you got some choices in there. Pick one of the ED words to underline.
Remains.
Perfect. And then read that paragraph. It sounds good. Let's check it.
Where does this start?
Well, where you indent, that tells you that's the beginning of the paragraph. So the second paragraph.
Okay. The raccoon who often looked down on Opossum was a mischievous animal. The raccoon responded, well, I wrapped my tail in cedar bark and put it into the coals of fire. He added, the fur between the bark turned black and the rest remained white. That was a bad idea, but Opossum easily fell for the trick.
I love it. It's really good. You see how much that flowed? It just flows so much better like that. Sounds really good. So you're going to work on your third paragraph and you have two LYs. You only need one underlined, so you'll take off one and then you can um, make sure to add who or which,
Okay.
a strong verb. And then,
Oh, I already got a witch. I'm gonna underline it.
okay, there you go. And
And
you probably
I'll
already
put
have a strong
rust
verb.
right
There you
here.
go. Good. Yep. So you got it now in your title, The Bear Tale. So that works. Good job, Anthony. So basically, you just have your grammar this week since you worked ahead.
Yay.
I know. And it sounds like, Amber, you might be almost done with your second paragraph, so you only have one more to work on. Okay, good. Well, it's already 12:31, so I'm going to go ahead and end class, but you guys both did fantastic. So really, your homework is to finish why opossum has a bare tail. So you're good with that, Anthony. And then Amber's going to finish hers, and then you guys work on grammar, and then I'll see you next week. Sound good? All
Yeah.
right, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.